Right from the jump, this judge realizes he's dealing with more than a simple fugitive case. Watch how fast this escalates, and pay attention to how criminal history shapes bond decisions in real time.
A fugitive case. Oh, you picked up 3 cases. You picked up a fraudulent use of ID, less than 5 items. You picked up a theft case, and you have an out-of-state fugitive case.
One of them has been dismissed, Judge. The fraudulent use of items has been dismissed. So technically, he's only got the theft pending and the fugitive case pending.
Mr. Kim, enlighten us.
Your Honor, this defendant is wanted out of Broward County, Florida for felony theft. The state would be opposed to a bond. There are 47 cycles of criminal history in the past 5 years alone, and these are just convictions.
47 pages of criminal history in 5 years?
47 cycles, Your Honor. For pages, it is 46 pages of criminal history, including, well, the California one's old, so I'm not going to count that one, but just...
46 pages of criminal history is huge. But remember, quantity doesn't always equal current danger. What do you think? Should old charges still impact new bond decisions?
In the last 5 years alone, and these are just...
They were not 47 in the last 5 years.
Hey, don't talk. I mean, we're just trying to, the thing is, Mr. Jones, is I have a very limited amount of time to try to get to know you. Everyone that comes in front of me tells me it's gumdrops and rainbows and little bunnies jumping in the woods. But the way I really get to know you is the paper, because that tells me who you are, right? If you're a dangerous person, if you're a person that I'm going to let go and you're going to continue with the criminality, I have enough trouble sleeping as it is. I don't want more blood on my hands. I don't want something else that's going to keep me up at night. So that's why. Well, but this is how we get to know you. And he's telling me you got 46 pages of criminal history.
Your Honor, in the past 2 years, he's had 3 failure to appears of multiple cases. He's had 2 habitation trespass convictions, a DWLI, prostitution, battery, criminal damage, failure to appear, possession of drugs, felony, obviously, resisting. But in the 21 some odd years, it's the 47 cycles of different offenses, and I just stopped scrolling after 2020.
Here's the key issue: failure to appear. In most courts, even 1 FTA can wreck your credibility. 3? That's a bond killer. The judge isn't just looking backward. FTAs predict future behavior.
How many failure to appears do we have?
3, Your Honor. And this one itself is a no-show, or according to the transmission.
Hey, John, could I say something?
Sure.
Okay, with the one you come out with the failure to appear, I feel that was nonsense because of the simple fact that I flew from Fort Lauderdale up here after they said I had a warrant, and I went to court a couple days before that. And is that documented, sir? You can see that?
Judge, I will say this. He did explain that
How
to
old are you,
me.
Mr. Jones?
I'm 40 years old, sir.
You're 40.
Yes, sir.
This moment is powerful. The defendant shifts from explaining to blaming the system. Judges hear this argument a lot, but rarely with such intensity. Notice how the judge keeps pulling it back to personal accountability.
How many cases has he picked up in total?
That he's been charged with. If you give me 10 minutes, I can count them, but it's not low. I mean, I can start from 2004.
So theoretically, for every year you've been born, you've had a case.
I have a
You're
question.
40 years old, and
sir.
you have around 46 pages of criminal history. So literally for every year you've been born, you've like picked up a case. And not only that, you've got multiple failures to
Sometimes you don't think the jurisdiction will fail me?
Huh?
You don't think the jurisdiction will fail me?
But the problem is, at some point, your actions become your own. You now have with us, you've picked up a theft case here in Harris County. You've got an open case in another jurisdiction. You've got pages upon pages. So at what point is it on you?
When you pay your debt to society, why do they keep using it against you? I pay my debt to society for those,
Because it continues.
hires. Okay.
Continues to happen. At some point, DAs are like, jail just doesn't work anymore. So that's when we got to go to prison, because this dude.
But prison don't help guys. That don't make them better. That makes them worse. Instead of tormenting them and sending them and feeding them to the wolves, y'all should sit down with that person to find out what's going on to help that person. Instead of prison not helping nobody, prison is not.
I can't tell you how many stories I have read of people who get degrees, college degrees, even become a lawyer while they're in prison. So if you want it to help, then it will. But you got to want it. If you
One better than me, Your Honor.
If you
But
have-
you know what the sad thing about it is, in the state of Florida with me, and that's why I left. Something happened, and I have a conflict of interest against the police. So now they're jigging at me every chance that they get. But it's crazy. He's saying I have a warrant, and I flew from there.
This rant is chaotic. Flights, warrants, court dates. But the heart of it is a valid question. Can a system fail someone even if they're not perfect? Drop a comment. Do you think he's being honest or dodging responsibility?
After that warrant was pro se that they said I have. I flew from Fort Lauderdale all the way to Houston, flew back down there and flew back. And they said I have a warrant. And I flew and went to court for another charge down there.
I don't get it.
And I went inside the court.
I don't know how that happened, but it's not supposed to. You know,
So who's the system failing? If I have a warrant, you mean to tell me they're gonna let me in their courtroom, attend to my judge, see my judge, everything, and let me go, and let me get back on the plane to fly back here? Mind you, I flew from here and flew back down there. They let me do all of this with a warrant?
I can't explain that. I can't.
So that's the system failing somewhere, somehow. That's not me.
Let me talk to the judge real fast.
But Mr. Jones, if you have this woe is me attitude, it's never going to change. It's
Y'all not
never going to
helping.
change.
Y'all not helping. It's not helping. Y'all not helping society. Y'all always blaming me and this and that and the other. Prime example, he's saying, oh, he got prices from here. And he went to calling stuff off that he said, well, only stopping from 2022 and he going past 2022. And I'm like, yo, but hey, but that's what the prosecutor do. He just doing his job.
Right, that's what he's doing.
Judge, if I may, sure. Points. First, if he's finished up the cases that he has had in his history, he's had a history. Okay, he's had a history. If he's paid his debt to society, like he says, if he's completed what he needs to do for those cases, that really shouldn't be relevant here. I would argue that in front of you, this is his first time being in front of you, right? And it looks bad that he has a criminal history. Yes, I get that. But if we were to just focus on whether or not he knew about this case, he's telling me he got on a flight, came over here, and it's a great question. If that happened, he would have had a warrant pending and he would have been arrested. So
When was the warrant issued, do you know?
March 3rd, 2025, but because it's a domestic flight, and obviously I don't work for TSA, I don't work for Department of Homeland Security.
Just got issued.
just March 3rd, 2025, Judge.
Your warrant was just issued in March of this year. So
And I flew
30 days ago, it got issued.
And I flew March 10th back up here.
So Judge, if that's the case, it hasn't been like he's been missing his responsibilities with
And
this
I went to
case.
court.
It's less than a month.
And you can also
that
see
he's
that I
had
had went to
this
court. I went to court before March 3rd.
That's why it's a failure to appear, which is
How? I went to court. I went to court before then.
Judge, the warrant has
I was
been
in the
issued
courtroom.
we're at April 1st, less than a month. And so it's not like he's been running. If the warrant's just been issued on March 3rd, I would ask that we afford this man an opportunity to make this right. He hasn't messed up in your eyes. Yeah, he's messed up in the past, but as far as the fugitive case is concerned, I'm asking for an opportunity for him to go to the demanding jurisdiction. And then if he messes up, okay, well, I don't have much to say after that. But just throwing his history out there, it doesn't mean he doesn't deserve a chance.
I stand by the no bond. He has assaultive history as well, and it shows in the message that we received from Florida is that he has violent tendencies, obviously reflected by the assaultive history, along with and I don't have to go ad nauseum, but the significant criminal history that he has.
When were the FTAs? How long ago?
The most recent failure to appears, one moment, Judge. There's one from May 4th, 2023. There's one from December 7th, 2023. There's one from.
It's
December
not on this
7th.
case, though. Those are separate cases. We're not talking about on this case, are
Oh,
we?
that, to be clear, it's not on this case, but.
Obviously not on this case, but the problem is that it keeps happening, and I can't continue to.
Sir, it's not keep happening, sir. Sir, this warrant that he said, sir, I went to court. I'm gonna be honest with you. I have another open case, and that open case is why I flew back down there. Went to court, finished court. They said I have a warrant. I go to the warrant district. They said I have no warrant. Leave the warrant district, get on the plane to fly back up here, and they said I had a warrant before I even flew on the plane back down there. So how could I fly?
Mr. Jones, even if I were to set you a
Okay,
bond,
no problem. Hey, take me back there, man. Can't about this shit, man.
easy money. There you go.
So for the second one, we're going to be, well, actually, it's going to be Ricardo's request, but.
Yeah, Judge, on the,
If you want me to take it off, I will.
yeah, on the second one, let's take it off. I'm concerned about HIPAA stuff and,
Ask them to bring him back.
yes, Judge.
If you want to go through the list?
And here comes a twist. The second defendant is a cancer patient with an old domestic violence strangulation charge. These cases get complicated. Compassion versus public safety. Judges tread carefully here.
Yes, Judge. Oh, no, sorry. No, my person is,
Mr. Nelson has a warrant out of Florida. He did have a local case that was resolved this morning.
Just dismissed. Yeah, today.
Yeah, it was, actually, I think.
No, I guess he
Sorry.
pled. Right. Okay.
He played on that. He previously had signed a waiver 7 days ago, I think, but
March
He-
31st. March 31st.
March 31st.
Oh, yesterday.
Last Friday. But anyway, his value of time is probably exaggerated. He has a warrant for Florida. He's been picked up on this before in Tennessee, and they didn't extradite him from Tennessee. They released him after 3 days. He's back in jail here in Texas now, obviously, for the same charge out of Florida, and he is a cancer patient, and he's wanting you to grant him a PR bond so he can go back to Florida.
But,
That's where I was heading.
really?
Yeah, it was.
Oh, it just so happened that you
No, sir.
got a failure to ID as well.
But that's, the failure to ID was, they pulled a gun on the guy they were looking for, and I was at the crosswalk. I wasn't there. They weren't stopping me. They stopped another guy. They were waiting for 3 days or whatever to get him. And then yes, sir.
It doesn't matter.
This is not our first time being here on this case, Amy,
He's previously had a fugitive case in Tennessee for this.
for this same charge.
Well, just a fugitive case in general. I can't say what.
So that was in Tennessee. Now he's wanted out of Florida.
No. He had this exact same proceeding in Tennessee.
Meaning he was a fugitive in Tennessee because of Florida.
Yes, he was incarcerated in Tennessee and had a hold on him from Florida. They chose not to extradite him at that particular time, and he was released 3 or 4 days there.
How long ago was that?
How long ago was that, sir?
5, 6 years ago.
And after 5 to 6 years ago, you still haven't taken care of the case.
That was during pre-COVID, and we were coming back from Michigan, and we were on our way down, and we stopped in Tennessee. I started working at the hotel, and they came in, and they said, out of the clear blue, "Looks like you got a warrant." And I go, "What?" Okay, so they took me in, they ran everything, they held me for 3 days, and they let me loose. There was no new charges or nothing.
What's he wanted for?
It's domestic violence.
In Florida, he's wanted for a couple different warrants on bond revocation for domestic battery by strangulation, violation of pretrial for domestic battery, violation of pretrial for domestic battery by strangulation, failure to appear for domestic battery, strangulation, and grand theft.
That was back in
And it's been open for
12 years.
and you still won't go back?
No, we were gonna go back. That was the whole thing. I was in
The
Florida.
only thing I'm waiting for you to say is that you were abducted by aliens that prevented you
I'm
from.
not gonna lie to you, sir, but we were going back. When COVID hit, actually, I was in Florida. That's where we went from Michigan to Tennessee, then Tennessee down to Florida during the pre-COVID. And we were in, I think Pensacola. And we were there for like 3 months, and we were waiting for the COVID to stop, but it just didn't end. So I ended up talking to a gentleman that had plenty of work for me across the country to go to all of his hotel properties to fix them and find out why they were failing, why were they not making any money, and what was going on. So that's what I've been doing.
Does Florida really want him? Are they going to come get him? Are we just playing games here? You know, because if